What is up? What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm your boy Narik Chase. In this video, we are going to be talking about 10 ways that I believe I've got. Okay, Fusion Reborn could have been a better movie. Now, for those who don't know, Fusion Reborn is one of the movies in the Dragon Ball Z animated movie series, and this came out as one of the later films. And I think this is kind of closer to around the Boo saga, Android saga. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but it is one of the later films, and it's an interesting film. I think it's a decent film. It's probably one of the better of the films because, as much as I like the Dragon Ball Z films, there's a lot of issues that I have with them. If you haven't seen my top 10 ways Tree of Might could have been a better movie, guys, go check out that video. I'll probably put like the analytical things up here, so a link to it so you can check it out. But I wanted to come back and do a Fusion Reborn because I went back and watched it and I was like, okay, it's a decent movie, but it doesn't have enough depth to it to make it just an awesome movie. Again, for those who don't know, the newer ones that are more associated with the Dragon Ball Super series, I think those are actually the best ones, more towards the fact that they have better stories and a better outlook and better backstory for the villains. So I actually do like those more than pretty much any of the rest of them, even though there are some gems in the rest of them that I do like. So, having said all of that, let's go ahead and get down to it. The top 10 ways Fusion Reborn could have been a better movie. Now, if you see me looking over here to the side and everything, it's because I'm looking at my laptop that's right here and I got all my notes on it. So, let's go ahead and just get into it. For one thing, I think Janemba is an interesting villain. It's pretty cool. You have all of this so-called evil and negative energy from all over the universe that's all culminating to this one creature. And Geneva, like the overall design of the character, I think is pretty cool. The presence of the character, I think, is really cool. Unfortunately, the character itself is not memorable, mostly because he doesn't really do anything badass in the fucking movie. He doesn't say anything memorable at all in this freaking movie. In fact, his Janemba has two forms. One is this kind of big, huge, yellowish, big, fat, plushy form that looks really innocent, but at the same time, it's really not as actually pretty deadly. And then it has the devil-looking form. It's ultimate form, which looks like leagues better, in my opinion. Which I honestly don't mind the transformation of this creature to this newer, more badass form. Although they do not look anything alike. So my problem is Janemba has no dialogue. One of the things that I like to see with my villains is I like to have a good bit of dialogue with the characters. Think of, um, you know, oh shit, here you go. I'm sorry, yeah, I know I got low iron, so I'm tired all the fucking time. It seems like. But anyways, one of the things, dialogue. I want to see dialogue. Some of the best dialogue. I like dialogue from Garlic Jr. I thought some of his was pretty cool. I like Brawley's dialogue. Some from the from the Brawley Legendary Super Saiyan. I like the dialogue in that movie. I like some of the dialogue actually from Super 16 or Android Super 16, Android 16. No, it wasn't 16. It was 13, 14, 15, whatever that Android movie was. I actually didn't mind some of the dialogue that was actually in that movie. I didn't mind some of the dialogue that was in Tree of Might. Even The World's Strongest had some pretty good dialogue that the villains had. My biggest problem, unfortunately, is that Geneva does not say anything. There are no quips. There's no, you know what I'm saying, no chit chat between the heroes and the villains, which makes some really cool, memorable moments. That's one reason why Battle of Gods was so cool because even though Beerus clearly outclassed Goku and them, he actually talked, and that added a lot to his personality and to the tension and overall stakes that were going on. So the fact that Janemba has no dialogue in this fucking movie is just a travesty, and it takes away from the overall presence and personality of the character. If they were to redo this movie, or initiate it and let it be a part of Super or something. Get a character some fucking dialogue. Janemba is just a overall like a badass concept for a bad guy. There's no fucking reason he doesn't have dialogue. Even if you think about it too, like if he's supposed to be from all these guys that have been killed and everything, why isn't he like pulling the sail and pulling out, bits of information from these villains that Goku beat and everything to kind of actually give you the feeling that all of these villains are a part of him. So I think that was a big problem. Janemba, like I said, is an interesting villain, but does it definitely was not given the just due that he deserves. Honestly, like I want to see this villain fucking shit up, and unfortunately we don't get that. Yes, the fight was actually pretty cool. I would say it was one of the better fights in this film series, but at the same time you don't get to see him just fucking shit up, and that's completely disappointing. But the more, but mostly my biggest issue with the character was there was no dialogue. Also, for the second thing that I wanted to add to this is Pycon. Pycon was totally underutilized in this movie. They fucked him over. Pycon was one of those characters that was introduced in the series that we saw did something exceptionally cool, and that was to challenge Goku when he went into the other world, the Afterlife tournament. It was a great tournament. You got Pycon as this really cool, interesting character, and you wanted to see more of the character. And I'm glad that the movie does put him in it, especially since it's somewhat of the it's focused on the afterlife. So of course, good chance he was going to be in it. But at the same time, he does not do a fucking thing. They reduce his character to sit here just swearing at this stupid bubble jelly bean thing. I don't know what the fuck it was. It was the jelly bean thing that King Yama was in. And of all the characters that's in heaven or hell, he has to be the one to sit there and try to break him free. And even the little fight that he does put in, great introduction into the fight. But he just completely gets fucked over. He just like gets taken out in like one hit, which is usurped by Gogeta being formed. So you know, way this is how I feel what they did to Pycon. Remember when the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie came out? Oh yeah, I need to cut my mustaches off, curling in my mouth and stuff. Just annoying. But in the Dragon Ball Super, you got a really good fight with Vegeta versus Broly. You got a really good fight with Goku versus Broly. You got a really good fight with Vegeta and Goku fighting Broly at the same time. And then while they're trying to fuse to this higher form, you get Frieza in who's fighting Broly. And the whole time he just gets his ass like kicked. There's literally no competition. That's how I felt that they did with freaking Pycon in this movie. So if you're gonna do that, bring Pycon back. Give that man some screen time. He's an awesome character, and I wanted to see how his abilities could have matched up potentially to Janemba. Because honestly, when we think about Janemba like being this ultimate evil in the universe and everything, I'm really picturing the fight from the Dragon Ball Super movie. Unfortunately, that ain't what we got. But like I said, Pycon did get screwed over, so that definitely made me mad with that movie. Um, Also, for number three, harsher stakes. Yes, we get to see that dead and people who are dead are starting to invade the planet and everything, but we don't actually get to see like stakes. I mean, yeah, you see the villains from back, all these former villains that they had to deal with fighting back, but it's not like an actual stake because by this time all the characters are like super strong. They can easily just wipe all these guys out and blast. Not to the courtesy of the movie, the bad guys will just keep coming back because the doorway to hell, the afterlife is actually open, so they're going to keep coming back. Okay, but it's not like they're saying that if the gates of hell aren't closed soon, that the world is going to get sucked into hell or something like that. All the souls that are around these gateways that are opening up are going to get sucked into hell. You know what I'm saying? The universe is going to collapse because the balance of life and death is, what I'm saying, has been breached for too long and is on such a big scale. Like there's literally, or you know what I'm saying, of everything because of this breach and these overlapping of hell being open and the earth and life and all of that shit. That eventually everything gets erased. Not merely just you don't merely die, you just erased. So that should have been a stake. If we beat this guy, and it stops everything from being erased. Or we beat this guy and it stops everybody in the universe from dying. You know what I'm saying? We don't really get those stakes in there. We don't really get to see any stakes really up in the afterlife either. Yeah, shit's turning to jelly beans and everything, but it's not like you know what I'm saying? You would want to see that this or like even Janemba himself. He ain't like he's absorbing souls, getting stronger as the fight goes. So again, the movie lacks any really. Yes, it has its share of stakes, but if this is supposed to be a creature that's formed from all the evil of the universe and everything, or the deceased, all these people that have been, all this concentrated evil, you would think that the stakes would be so much bigger. His presence would fucking shake the world. But no, you don't really get that. So bigger stakes could have been a better thing. And I did kind of harp on this better fucking fights. Look, again, I like the Goku versus Janemba fight. It was kind of cool, but it didn't have that fast paced, edgy feel to it that we've seen from, I don't know, Vegeta. Gohan versus Cell, Goku versus Boo, Vegeta versus Raccoon. Shit, fucking Goku versus Jiren, Goku and Vegeta versus Broly, Goku versus Beerus. All of these great examples of fantastic fights. Not the Super, because Super came after this movie came out, long after this movie came out. But just saying, just all these are just great examples of fucking fast paced, badass fights that were just left people on the edge of their seats, just wanted to see what the fuck was going to go on. Impactful, fast paced, interesting abilities displayed. And you do get to see some pretty cool stuff that Janemba does, being able to extend his limbs, his interesting method of teleporting. The sword was actually pretty cool until it shriveled up. I don't know why the fuck it shriveled up, but you know what I'm saying? You don't, but the little glass breaking the dimensional barrier attack, which honestly in Xenoverse 2 is one of my favorite fucking attacks in the game. So it's actually a pretty cool attack, but I would have liked to see more. I would like to see more. Even the fat version of them got to open up the portals and being able to punch Goku from different portals and stuff. I thought that was actually pretty cool too. So the fights definitely could have been better. Hell, even when Gohan and all of these other characters are dealing with the afterlife and all of these other bad guys show up, like there should have been fucking a bunch of fights, a bunch of battles with those characters. I don't know where that they completely missed the mark with that. Now that I think about it, all of these villains show up. I get Gohan punches Frieza in half and he destroyed, but remember the movie where Resurrection F, where they had the whole army of the whole Frieza force that the guys they had to fight them. They were fighting them, and even though they could actually beat the guys and stuff, it's actually a pretty fast paced and awesome fight. That's what we should have had. A whole fucking army of bad guys. A lot of them weak, and there are some strong ones in it. And then all of these Z fighters sitting there fighting this army. That's what we should have got. Better fights definitely should have been on the should be there. 5. The gateway to hell is opened up, and then the world is being overrun with all these dead people. Why the fuck are all the Z fighters there? I get that, you know, these movies they're not necessarily canon with the series, and they kind of pick certain moments to put certain characters in and not have certain characters in, even though it makes sense for them to actually be in it story wise, going by the canon or lack thereof. But where the fuck are all of the Z fighters at? If the world is coming to an end with all of these, zombies and dead folks coming back and everything, you would think. I mean, who did they actually show? Goku, Vegeta, and Pikkon in the afterlife. Gohan, Goten, and Trunks in the real world fighting. Where the fuck is Piccolo, Tien, Yamcha, Krillin, 18, Chaozu? Like, where is the whole roster? I would even take Roshi, but where the fuck is the rest of the characters at? There's no reason that all of this should be going on and all these Z fighters is not there. They were all fucking there when Resurrection F rolled around, but again, I guess I can't hold it against because Resurrection F came out later on. But at the same time, still didn't alter the fact that you have a whole roster of characters. Why the fuck during this world event, which it bothers me a lot about these Dragon Ball Z movies. There's no reason all of these big fucking events are going on, and these people are capable of destroying the planet and destroying the universe and taking over everything, but not all the Z fighters are there. If we could get all of them during the Vegeta fight, all the Z fighters show up during the Vegeta fight, the Cell fight. Why in the fuck can't we get them in this movie? But okay, bring Z fighters this time. And another thing I did want to say about this too, which honestly it always pisses me off with Dragon Ball Z. This could have been a good moment for Goku to have met his grandpa Gohan again, because he's in the afterlife. This could have been a great opportunity to kind of show Vegeta meet his father again because he's in the freaking afterlife. So as far as the story having some kind of emotional depth, look, I know it's Dragon Ball Z. You're not going to really get emotional like that, especially from these two characters. But that could have been a great seller for this movie. Um, a better origin for Janemba. I don't know what I meant about where I say that. I guess kind of how everything happened. For those who don't know the Janemba movie, Janemba is formed by this ogre. Yes, it's that heaven and hell are guarded by ogres. This ogre wasn't paying attention when this machine that extracts and preserves evil energy, I guess it gets overloaded, and he's not paying attention. So when it explodes, and malfunctioning explodes, it engulfs him as its host, which turns him into Janemba. I think that's kind of a decent way, but how it happened came off more as a comedy, where this it's a young ogre. He doesn't care about the job. He's listening to music on his headphones, so he's not paying attention. I would have much better if there was some kind of containment unit that did have this evil force in it. I would have preferred either somebody knew about it and actually went there to take that power for themselves, or to take that power for themselves, believing they have the ability to control it, or have someone that's devoted or worships it or whatever release it to end everything. They believe that Geneva will end everything. So I would have liked it to been like that. That would have gave us another interesting character to put into the movie. And like I've said in Tree of Might, one of the biggest problems with the majority of the DBZ films are the fact that the villains are fucking suck. They have stupid motivations. They're dumb. No interesting backstory. The personalities are just whack. There's nothing interesting about them. They're just bare bones, by the numbers assholes. And like I said, I think that would have been a better origin for the Janemba character. Also, if they're gonna remake this or actually add this character into the series, I would not mind seeing Beerus be brought into this fight. Now everybody knows that Beerus has the power to erase souls. So even if you're dead, he can literally erase you, and you're gone from existence. I believe that's what he did to not Black Goku Black, the other guy, the Zamausha, whatever the fucking Kai guy is, who's the asshole. I believe he did that to him too. But it would be pretty cool to see Beerus end up fighting this evil force that is a culmination of all the evil that's ever been. So it'd been pretty cool to see a God of Destruction fight this destructive power that matches the God of Destruction, if not excels past that. Um, which also would increase on the stakes as well, that this creature's presence can defy that of the gods of destruction. So I think that's actually pretty cool, and I think it could play also into how that they have the highest of the highest that created everything. Those guys, maybe they could have potentially put all of that negative energy away to stop it from doing that. But I think that would be a pretty cool thing, and plus that would also introduce with the other gods of destruction and stuff like that. I think with the angels and stuff, I think that'll work out. Having that in having that be such a on that threat level. Uh, okay, this is one of always wanted to see in these movies when these two motherfuckers fight. I think the best two movies we get this in is Dragon Ball Super Brawly, that movie, and also what is the other one? Oh, Return of Cooler or Cooler's Revenge. No, the Return of Cooler. Number 8 should consist of Goku and Vegeta doing team attacks. We got that in those two movies. Return of Cooler did it, not to the same level that I wanted it in Dragon Ball Super Brawly, but I will give it to it. It did do it enough that satisfied me. I did enjoy seeing these two characters work together, which is one of my problems with Resurrection F. You can't sit there and introduce these two need to know how to fight together, and then they don't fight together in the movie. That's stupid. But so this creature is that damn powerful. Neither one of these characters should be trying to fight this guy on his own. Yes, eventually they did fuse because they were forced to fuse, but it would have been nice to see these two characters who have had all of these years fighting amongst each other, as well as fighting all these villains, develop their own team-based attacks where they could actually fight with each other. Hell, you got Goten and you got Trunks, and that's one thing I like about the characters, but I don't like about the characters too, that they are unique and that they do learn to fight together. Yes, they do rely too much on the damn fusion technique, so it doesn't let them develop as characters. But since Goku and Vegeta are basically the older versions of these characters, I would have liked to seen these two just fight this motherfucker the same way they did, at least the way they fought with Return of Cooler. So that was none of my problems. And hell, in add to that too, Pycon should have at least gotten to this. So if not Goku and Pycon fights are fighting Janemba, at least have Goku and Vegeta fight Janemba. And also, as what I did say a minute ago, number 9 is more villains. If you're bringing all of these bad guys from the dead, and I'm not really sure which no, this is past the Cell Saga because Gohan was older. So all of the villains from Cell on down should have been brought back. Jiro, 18, no, not 18, 19. Unless Jiro's 19, then I'm thinking about the fat one. Jiro, 18. The Ginyu Force, all the people they beat on Namek, Nappa, Raditz, Cell, if I didn't say Cell, just all of these villains whose ass they beat over the years should have came back. So there's literally no fucking reason that out of all of these bad guys, that none of these bad. I mean, yes, you do see them in like this one scene, but you don't get an extensive fight. One of my biggest things about the Ginyu Force that used to actually piss me off from the freaking series is that like you never got to see the Ginyu Force use like team-based attacks, especially Berter and Jace. So I would have liked to seen that at least. Yes, they could have got their ass kicked, but at least the effort would have been put into, especially Goten and Trunks fighting people that they never encountered. And Cell coming back should have been given. I don't see why the hell Cell didn't come back. Maybe I don't know. Maybe because Cell isn't technically alive, he's actually a robot or an android. But then again, GT disproves that because Cell's in GT in hell, and then 17. So I don't know. Cell should have been back along with a lot of other characters and had more of an extensive fight with with the rest of the Z fighters. And also number 10, I say a better fight between Gogeta and Janemba. I don't like this because it felt like a Power Rangers movie where you whooping their ass the entire time, then they achieve this final form, and instead of it growing and you actually competing with the character before being eventually overwhelmed, they literally beat this guy like within a fucking minute of transforming. So I didn't like that, and again, it did usurp any chance of seeing Pycon fight this guy and showing his stuff. So that's they should have had a much better fight. It should have been them on equal terms, and then Gogeta eventually getting the upper hand. And also, I would have liked to seen this as an additional thing. The story. One thing I don't like about the Dragon Ball Z films again is they're too straightforward. I want them to be more complexity to it. It should have been a battle on Earth with the Z Fighters versus the Dead. There should have been the fight between Janemba and the Goku and Vegeta. Fine, but there also should have been another story that's going on that's helping to show what the stakes are. Maybe the machine or whatever is still functioning. They just need to fix it or reverse what's going on or something to stop Janemba from getting so powerful, which leads to Gogeta beating them, or possibly beating them. And they had some Z fighters trying to stop the machine. That would have added much more depth to the story, increased on the stakes and everything. So that right there are my top 10 ways. Might as well say 11, but I'm saying top 10 ways that Fusion Reborn could have been a better movie in terms of character development, story, building depth to the story, as well as possible branching storylines, and also just a more badass Dragon Ball Z film. Guys, in the comment section below, let me know what are your thoughts about my top 10 ways this could have been a better movie. Do you agree with them? Do you think Are there other ways that this movie could have been a better movie, or do you think the movie is just perfect the way it is? Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and the notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel, and we'll definitely catch you guys later.